Greetings of peace. My name is Ram Hotep, broadcasting on behalf of 13signsastrology.com. That's the number 13, signs plural, astrology.com. This video is on Mercury Retrograde. I did a video back when I first came on YouTube, a few months back. I did a video on Mercury Retrograde. It was a pretty decent video, but in this video, which is part 2, I'm going to go into the current Mercury retrograde that is coming up in July. For those people that are interested in having more knowledge on Mercury retrograde, I do have another video on YouTube called Mercury retrograde for those people that want to understand Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde is the time of reflection. It's the time of looking back at the past. Sometimes this is a time to look back at the past of this life, and other times it's a time to look back at our past lives. But in general, Mercury retrograde, it deals with the past thoughts, past communications, past reflections, just anything, that is dealing with the past as far as the mental function, as far as thoughts and communication is concerned. Now, Mercury is actually the deity and is the planet that rules the matrix. The matrix is ruled by what's called commerce. Since the money got taken out of circulation, we basically have been dealing in credit. Since there is no money, we deal in the credit system. And the credit system is controlled by commerce. And commerce is governed by Mercury. So, in Mercury retrograde, basically everything in the matrix goes out of whack. Everything in the matrix, that is, goes out of whack. So all forms of communication, anything dealing with the air, because Mercury is it's an air and earth planet as far as the elements concerned, is ruled by air and earth. So all air affairs, all air affairs like credit card transactions, those things take place in the air. So, like, say for instance, you send out a credit card payment to somebody. That's a signal that's sent to someone's computer, and that's how the payment is basically acquired and collected. And this is done basically via the air. And Mercury retrograde deals with all of these type of communications, payments and stuff being blocked, people saying that they didn't receive your payments. There's going to be issues with bank accounts. All that type of stuff comes up during Mercury retrograde. Now, this particular Mercury retrograde is very interesting. This particular Mercury retrograde is going to be in Cancer. No, it is not. It is not in Leo. They're saying that this Mercury retrograde is in Leo in Western astrology. According to 13 signs, this is a water retrograde. Even the elites and those people that are in tune with 13 know that they're doing water rituals this year, because all the Mercury retrogrades are going to be taking place in water signs. The last one will be taking place in Fucus, I believe, which is later on this year. But this particular one is taking place again in it's taking place in Cancer. It's taking place in Cancer. This is going to basically be a Mercury retrograde that's going to have a lot of dealings with family. A lot of people that are conscious are going to want to either separate from their families because they feel like they're growing past their families, and a lot of people are going to want to bring their families into the fold of consciousness. This is what this particular Mercury retrograde is going to be dealing with. A lot of people are going to want to bring their mothers into consciousness. A lot of people that are conscious or whatever. So I make my videos about astrology for people that are cognizant, conscious, and aware, because it's only those people that are cognizant, conscious, and aware that even care about astrology. Most people that aren't conscious, they don't care about astrology. They think that astrology is just mumbo jumbo. They believe that it's a god in the sky that controls all the affairs of men and controls everything that goes on in the background for men. And they believe this, but in reality, it's all about the planets. And it's all about working with energy. And knowing about astrology is like watching the weather, so that you'll know as to whether or not you should bring an umbrella or not. It's not to say that you're going to definitely get caught in the rain, but chances are that if it was going to rain and you knew that you were going to get caught in the rain, you would want to be prepared by bringing an umbrella. And that's how astrology is. Astrology can warn you about potential futures, because once you know the future can change for you. And Mercury retrograde is no different. It can be chaotic. It can be like a lot of people that are into astrology and into metaphysics believe that Mercury retrograde is just this horrible, terrible time. And it's only horrible and terrible for those people that have connections to the matrix in any way. And we all do have connections to the matrix. So it can be horrible if you are caught up in the illusion. See, Mercury retrograde deals with the mental function, and it's about illusions. You see, like, say for instance, if you're late for an appointment and things keep being delayed for you during Mercury retrograde, and you're watching this, because a lot of you may, I'm putting this video out before Mercury retrograde, but a lot of you are going to be watching this during Mercury retrograde, because people don't realize how deep Mercury retrograde is until they actually get in it. So if you're watching this video for the first time and it's Mercury retrograde, it's no coincidence for that. And if you've been going through a lot of delays, a lot of appointments have been getting canceled, you've been going through a lot of drama with your family and stuff like that, this is Mercury retrograde. And Mercury retrograde can actually be worked with. It's an energy that's available only for 21 days every 3 months. This energy is available for 3 weeks every 3 months. And those people that are in tune with the Mercury retrograde and knowing which element it's in can work with this particular energy. Now, I'm going to tell you how to work with this energy at the end of this video, but I'm still going to kind of explain exactly what to look for during Mercury retrograde, so people will know, you know what I'm saying, what they can potentially be facing. A lot of people during Mercury retrograde tend to get deceived. Mercury is a trickster, so people tend to get deceived. People may make you offers. They may make you offers. They may offer you a job. They may offer you a certain amount of money. They may offer set up a new business venture. They may ask to set up a new business venture with you. People tend to go into deals like that, jobs, business ventures, and things like that, thinking that everything's going to be solid. But when you do those things during Mercury retrograde, when you go into new contracts and go into new business endeavors, you actually potentially do yourself harm, because things that are started during Mercury retrograde, as far as contracts that are signed, usually don't work out. They usually don't work out because Mercury is going retro. So everything is going backwards. It's a time of reflection, not a time to start. When you start something, that's going direct. That's when Mercury goes direct. That's going out. So when Mercury goes backwards, that's a reflection. And that's what we're going through now. We're going through the reflection aspect, which is the illusionary aspect, which is looking back at the past and redoing some things that we started, kind of like retweaking them. So things that we started between March, or between late March and now, we need to be working on tweaking those things. That's what you need to be doing as far as working with the Mercury energy. Mercury is, like I said, is a deceiver. Mercury is a trickster. Mercury will deceive you. Mercury is a crook, believe it or not. The ultimate crook, because you never see Mercury coming. You never see Mercury coming. So that's my little bit of information on it. Now let me go into how to work with the energy. Now, as far as working with this Mercury retrograde energy, it's not the end of the world. You have to learn how to work with it. People that are born with Mercury retrograde in their chart, I pointed this out in the last video, they know how to work with the energy because they were born up under that energy. And they know when Mercury retrograde hits, everything slows down. See, everything slows down, and you can do things in Mercury retrograde because things are so slow that you normally wouldn't have been able to do. You could slip through the cracks during Mercury retrograde because everybody's mentally thrown off. Everybody's discombobulated. So the way to master Mercury retrograde is to master the trickster aspect of Mercury. You have to become the trickster. You have to learn how to sneak things in. You have to become unorthodox. Mercury retrograde is all about doing things from an unorthodox point of view. They say, for instance, you normally take one way to work. During Mercury retrograde, you should find a new way to work. Take a different way. You got to be the trickster. Go around. So you know what I'm saying? Go around. But you plan this out before Mercury retrograde, though. So if you're watching this video before Mercury retrograde and you always get caught up in the traffic and things like that, and things seem to kind of like go, kind of haywire for you during Mercury retrograde, plan out a couple different ways to get to work now. And make up backup plans for everything that you're doing on a communication level, on a traveling level, on a commerce level, money, business, all of that. Make backup plans for any type of plans that you have during Mercury retrograde, because that's how you beat the trickster, is by having a backup plan. Murphy's Law is in full effect during Mercury retrograde. A lot of people get caught up in Murphy's Law during Mercury retrograde, and they get caught up. You know what I'm saying? And they get deceived by Mercury, because Mercury is the trickster. So you want to avoid Mercury's deceptions by staying ahead of Mercury, by planning for Mercury retrograde now. And that's why I'm putting this video out 7 days in advance. So you want to learn how to work with the energy. Now you can go deep with work with Mercury retrograde's energy and learn how to do some deep spiritual type of magic. Believe it or not, Mercury deals with magic. Mercury is synonymous with Tahuti. Tahuti was the deity of magic. So Mercury also can deal in magic, and you can get into practicing this magic by learning how Mercury is going to play out on a personal level in your chart. Now you have your personal natal chart. Mercury is going to be parked in a certain part of your natal chart, going retrograde in a certain position in your natal chart. And to get more information on how to work with Mercury retrograde's energy in your natal chart, you have to first have purchased the natal chart from 13 Signs Astrology. If you have purchased the natal chart, you can order a Mercury retrograde consultation that I have set up. This is an exclusive consultation strictly for people that is priced for people too that have purchased natal charts for me, for my clients, to help you to work with the energy of Mercury retrograde. It's at a very good price. It's a consultation. It's not long. It's a 20-30 minute consultation that teaches you how to work with the magical aspect of Mercury so that you can manifest some things. Because this is the exciting news that I wanted to point out about this Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde is going to be basically smooth sailing from the time that Mercury goes retrograde all the way up until August the 1st. It's going to be a lot of energy out there to be able to contact ancestors and ancestral forces during this time. For those people that have paranormal type of questions, for those people that want to contact some of their ancestors, people that may have passed over, they want to get guidance and wisdom and get a reading from their ancestors. For those people that want to possibly even contact ETs, this is a good time to get into all of that type of divination as far as contacting people and contacting entities, because Mercury is going to be in a water sign and it's going retrograde, in the water element, and the water element deals with intuition. It deals with intuition. So your intuition is going to be heightened during this Mercury retrograde. So if you take the time and you work the energy right, you want to basically be chilling during this Mercury retrograde, reflecting on a spiritual level, reflecting on an emotional level, getting your emotions together. This is what this Mercury retrograde is going to be dealing with. It's going to be dealing with, like I said, family. Some people are going to want to get away from their family so they can get their energy right. Listen to your spirit. Listen to your emotions. Like, I put out a video about emotions, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. But I'll say this. When your emotions tell you something, you have to follow it. If you don't feel right about something, you should listen. There's a reason for that. And Mercury retrograde is going to be strong, a lot of strong emphasis on emotions, but it's going to be a great time because there are no negative aspects to this Mercury retrograde that we're coming into. Absolutely no negative aspects up until the 1st. Mercury will be sextiling Venus and Jupiter during this retrograde. Amazing energy available with that. You need to find out exactly how this is going to play out in your natal chart by getting the Mercury retrograde consultation that I spoke of on my website. And you can find out how to work with these energies. It's going to be a Mercury trine Uranus throughout the whole Mercury retrograde. That's going to be amazing. That's going to be amazing for communication, higher levels of communication though. It's going to be amazing for sending out positive energy and getting it back to you. If I can say anything about this Mercury retrograde as far as the potential energy that's available, if you're positive during this Mercury retrograde, and I know a lot of people teach that you should always be positive. Like, you should always be positive because you want to attract things. You should never be negative. And I really don't get deep into that because being positive and negative, it depends on how you want to work with your energy. But what I will say is this. During this time, you want to be optimistic. Not just positive, but you want to be optimistic during this Mercury retrograde, because it's going to be a pocket of energy available in the universe based upon the Mercury retrograde energy that's going to allow you to be able to manifest positivity in your life a lot quicker by just thinking positive based on Mercury retrograde. See, this is going on. This is going to be going on in the universe, like I said, for the next few weeks. So if you're thinking positive, it's going to basically, here's how it's going to go. You're thinking positive, you're sending out that energy into the universe. The universe is going to reflect that energy back to you a lot quicker because there's going to be a pocket of energy available based upon the Mercury retrograde energy that's going to promote positivity. It's going to promote positivity, but you have to think on that positive level. If you're not thinking on that positive level, you're not going to really be able to tap into and harness this energy. It's for those people that thinking on that positive level, because when you think on that positive level, it creates right angles. Your thoughts basically create right angles, which allows you to be able to attract things to yourself. See, when you think negative, that's sacred geometry. Your thoughts create certain patterns, and the negative entities are attracted to those negative patterns that are created from negative thoughts. When you think positive, your thoughts form certain geometrical patterns, and the positive entities are attracted to your thoughts based upon those geometrical patterns. So you want to be positive during this Mercury retrograde, because of the energy that's available is going to allow you to be able to, it's going to reflect back to you. So everything you send out will reflect back to you a lot swifter because of what's going on with this Mercury retrograde. Amazing energies available. A lot of people are going to be hearing the ringing in their ears, which I'm doing a video on soon. A lot of people are going to be getting contacted by the I'll just say by the other side, by the spiritual world, whether it's ETs or whether it's angels and other occult forces. A lot of people are going to be getting contacted. It's going to be a very heightened spiritual Mercury retrograde, especially with the water retrograde being in effect. It's not going to be a fire retrograde. It's not going to be a fire retrograde. Just pay attention to the energy. Work with water during this time. Follow the blueprint of the East, the Eastern doctrine, which is where 13 signs comes from. We come through the Eastern doctrine and we teach that it's water. See, this is a water retrograde, not a fire. So you want to tap into the water elements, the water elementals during this time. To go deeper into it, I would suggest I have a link at the bottom of this video so that you can get a consultation, and I will take you deeper into how to work a few magical rituals during this time based upon how the energy is available for you. Because people got to realize when you deal with Mercury retrograde, the energy is available. It's a certain type of energy available generally, like a universal energy, call it that. But the universal energy has to play out differently in different people's lives. And it plays out in your life based upon where Mercury retrograde falls in your chart and based upon the aspects that it is making to other planets in your chart. So you want to get, if you want a personalized ritual on, because Mercury retrograde, I can't give out a general Mercury retrograde ritual, or else I would help everybody and just come up with a general Mercury retrograde ritual and give it to everybody as a general ritual. But this Mercury retrograde energy is personalized. So you have to work a personal ritual, and that ritual, as far as the ritual that you will be that you will work, will be based upon what type of energy or how the energy is playing out in your natal chart, where the energy is playing out, and how, and based on what type of geometrical patterns will be formed in your natal chart based upon that energy. So if you're interested in that, follow the link below, set up a consultation. Until we meet again, I'm going to leave you in peace. And I hope you guys definitely have a great Mercury retrograde. For those people that are watching this video, if it's Mercury retrograde right now, don't worry about it. I know people get stressed out during Mercury retrograde. Everything's going to clear itself up. It's just that Mercury retrograde energy. It gets everybody. It's delays. People don't get money in the bank when they thought they was going to get money. All of that type of stuff. So it's just about preparation. And you have to think ahead and beat the deceiver. Mercury's the deceiver. So you want to think ahead of him and beat him in his own game. Because he's a gamer. The Matrix is a game, and Mercury is a gamer. He rules the Matrix. So you want to be ahead of him, think ahead of him, and you want to basically master this energy by being conscious of it, by knowing exactly what's going on, which I explained to you. And if you want to go more in depth, if you want more information, again, follow the link below. I thank you for watching this video. I leave you in peace and prosperity.